Ms. Herbert.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council.
Good afternoon.
So this is a request to amend sections 19-61 D of municipal code as well as section 19-205. The first portion of this, the 19-61 D, is related to compensatory time, and it applies to exempt employees only. We are requesting to end compensatory time for exempt employees. Now, this will not apply to police and fire and our non-exempt employees, only exempt employees. And the expectation has always been that exempt employees would flex their time, work with their supervisor and flex their time. So this is just a request to end that. And again, non-exempt employees, police, fire, it will not apply to.
But we're gonna take it for granted that our supervisors will give them that flex time they've earned at an appropriate time.
Well, part of the thing is when you're an exempt employee, you are compensated. Most of our exempt employees are compensated very well, and we do recognize that many of our exempt employees put in long hours. And yes, our supervisors, they work with their supervisors, and then their supervisor should work with them.
Okay.
And just so you know, presently, the way that it's set up in code, it's not that they're able to get a never-ending amount of comp time. It's 40 hours max, and after 30 days, it expires.
Okay. Any questions about all this?
I'll make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm
Thank you.
sorry,
Oh,
one more section. 19-205, related to severe weather and emergency
yeah.
administrative leave. So what this would do, say for instance, there are times that we have ice or expected some type of inclement weather, and there are employees that are considered non-essential that maybe the mayor would like to allow to come in late once the roads get better or something of that nature. This would allow the mayor to grant administrative leave for that. And the employees that are deemed essential would get their regular rate of pay. Currently, the way the code is written, even if an employee is deemed essential and they are currently at work, they're scheduled to work, they automatically get overtime pay. And I think back in 2014, the mayor granted administrative leave, and it resulted in like a $300,000 cost. And so we would like to change that, and folks would get their regular pay as they normally would.
I
They're
think
scheduled to work.
this is fair. I think
Yes,
that's
sir.
fair. Any comments, questions?
I agree. I'll make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
All
you,
right.
council.
Thank you very much. Thank you for, I know it's a lot of work keeping up with all this stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
Good.
I'm so glad. It's
I
so
know
good to see
are.
you. So, council, I think because in the essence of time, my goal in these next, I'm going to give myself 10 minutes. My goal in the next 10 minutes is going to be to give you an overview. You've gotten a chance on pages within your packet. You've gotten a chance to take a look at the proposed red line changes to the text related to sidewalk cafes. I'm not going to ask you today to pass that out of this committee. We can sit on it possibly until the 18th, and if you are so inclined, we could pass it out of committee on that day. I do want, I think today, to focus a lot on the fee discussion. I know that was the item that came up 2 weeks ago. So let's get into the Sidewalk Cafe chat. As we've discussed a couple of weeks ago, the observations and what our current fees are. Right now, of course, there is a lot of confusion about that overlap between the Sidewalk Cafe and the right-of-way use permit. The boundaries don't run parallel to the building walls, inconsistent cleaning, But we as the city have our own set of issues as well, where we have placed things, where we may need some wheel stops and some other things. So we are all contributing to the challenges that sidewalk cafes have in our downtown and our strip areas.
I hate to interrupt, but
Oh,
we
yes,
walked
sir.
around and I didn't realize we had some trees that are in the way. They're in the way and they're causing some damage to the infrastructure, and that's got to be dealt with.
Just from a pedestrian perspective, yes, Mr. Fail, I agree. And there's some trees that unfortunately are dying because of past practices of not unstrapping them, and there are some challenges that we have, certainly. So in terms of those recommended changes that you see in your agenda on pages, starting on page 4, going through these just very quickly so we can get into the meat of this. Of course, it's unclear how that relationship between the right-of-way use permit and the sidewalk cafe permit is. We recommend just some more clarification language that says if you have a right-of-way use permit granted by the city, it does not grant you permission for the commercial use of that sidewalk cafe without a permit. And we also recommend adding that no new sidewalk cafe permits will be issued to establishments classified as bar club, bar restaurant, or private event space. Those are new zoning classifications within our new zoning ordinance. There's only one establishment that falls into any of those classifications today, and they already have a sidewalk cafe permit, so they would be able to maintain theirs. It would not be a new cafe permit. Related to the area and barriers, right now we require 6 feet of unobstructed pedestrian pathway. We do not recommend making that change at all. We maintain that 6 feet should be required. Right now, we also allow only the area in front of the business and wrapping around to the side if it's a corner lot, and that barriers are required to separate the cafe area from the sidewalk. We want to remove language related to the edges of tree grates and borders. Quite frankly, that is just complicated and confusing language, and we have not done a good job of enforcing that. Instead, what we would say is that the barriers are to run in a continuous straight line perpendicular to the building wall, and connecting to that outer barrier, making perpendicular and straight lines instead of bobbing and weaving. We also want to say that the barriers to be affixed to the sidewalk and installed in a manner approved by the city. As it relates to sanitation, we say that the business is responsible, and we agree. The business should be responsible for maintaining the sidewalk cafe to keep it neat and clean. Today, they are supposed to be picking up trash in 100 feet, both sides of their sidewalk cafe at the close of each night. And most of our businesses do a phenomenal job. We've got 2 of our sidewalk cafe owners here this afternoon from the Tuscaloosa Downtown Merchants Alliance. We got a chance to talk to them, got a chance to talk to some others. And what we want to add in combination with the discussions with them is just that quarterly pressure washing is required by the applicant, that the applicant should do that quarterly pressure washing, holding them accountable to maintain their spaces. As it relates to furnishings, we don't propose many changes to what we currently say. We just want to say that they shall be uniform in design. We don't need a mix of plastic furniture with metal furniture in the same sidewalk cafe space. Let's make it neat and tidy. And then as it relates to alcoholic beverages, we, at the request of Chief Blankley, are adding in that glass bottles containing alcoholic beverages other than wine bottles are prohibited. So you can read that as no beer bottles within that space. As it relates to queuing, there is a little bit of confusion, as I mentioned, that can you maintain a queuing space and a sidewalk cafe? The current queuing language hints at the idea that you cannot both queue and do a sidewalk cafe. We need to make that very plain and say that a sidewalk cafe shall not be used as such if the area is being utilized for queuing. So we also are proposing to change that queuing permit start time. Right now it's at 11 p.m. We propose pushing that back to 9 o'clock at the request of Chief Blankley and the other public safety folks. So those are the red line changes that we've got for you within the text. Do you have any questions on that before we get into fees?
Yes, you may.
Ashley, how were all of these changes vetted with the business community? And I mean, have we had discussions with
Yes, sir.
downtown merchants? I mean, like, who all have we talked to?
Yeah, we've had a good chance to talk to the downtown merchants. Of course, they're here. We also had a chance to talk through Brandon Owens, who is the kind of liaison for the strip area. On the strip, there's only 3 businesses that have a sidewalk cafe, so most on the strip are not impacted. Most of what you see are actually private patios along the strip area. So we've had a
Who are the
chance.
3 actually?
Glory Bound, Egan's,
Egan's.
and 1225 are the 3 on the strip.
1225 has a sidewalk cafe.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And so in talking with all of those folks, we've been able to vet those changes. They are minor tweaks with a good impact, especially coupled with the things that the city will be doing from a Greensboro Avenue perspective and other infrastructure changes.
So what you're proposing is if they ordinarily have queuing and they also have a sidewalk cafe, they've got to get rid of the sidewalk cafe. Is that what I understand?
Yeah, so the way the ordinance currently reads, it hints at the idea that if you have a sidewalk cafe, you can't also queue in it, or you're supposed to take up the sidewalk cafe and only have it as queuing. We just want to plainly state that if you have a queuing permit, that you can't also have folks jumbled up on the sidewalk as well, enjoying the patio space.
There's no
You've got
room.
to choose. Exactly.
There's
There's
no
no room
room.
to do both, and it makes it a little bit harder for that quick glance to see, is that the line, or is that, what's going on in this establishment? So we just need to make it one or the other.
I got you.
Any questions on the
So
red
who would
lines?
that impact?
It should not impact anyone.
We're moving the timeline down to 9.
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes,
we're
sir.
saying it's either or.
It's either or.
You're queuing, or you've got a sidewalk cafe business going.
Yes. The establishments that have sidewalk queuing permits, read through the hint around, we just need to clarify that we're not hinting that you can't do both. We are saying you cannot do both at the same time. But the ones that have queuing permits do a good job of that for the most.
I think it's a little more clear in the queuing permit portion of code, and so this kind of helps equalize them a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Holmes. We're ready to talk about fees. All right, y'all. So as we get into fees, as a quick reminder, we charge a $150 application processing fee that is now $156 as it has been adjusted for the CPI. And we also in 2022 set it at $1 per square foot for a licensing fee that has also been adjusted for the CPI, and that is now up to $1.04. Staff is not providing any recommendations related to this. Let's get into those best practices. So we took a look at 5 cities in Alabama, as well as a number of cities outside the SEC communities or tourist communities, because you'll see Asheville, North Carolina there. So taking a look at what other cities in Alabama do, I put Tuscaloosa on the side. Anniston, Auburn, Birmingham, Northport, and Opelika all had sidewalk cafe ordinances that were easy to locate their fees for and would answer their phones. So we appreciate them. It was a little shocking how hard it was to get some of those municipalities to answer an email or answer a phone. But you'll see what other communities in Alabama are doing. Let's look at elsewhere. So there are some interesting things that other communities are doing. You'll see that Asheville, North Carolina calls it an outdoor dining permit. They do sidewalk dining, streeteries, which are using public parking spaces for sidewalk cafes. And they also have a public use fee which coincides, it would seem the public use fee coincides with the right-of-way use permit concept. Athens, Georgia is at about $1 or $1.50 per square foot. Baton Rouge is at $1 per square foot. Fayetteville is taking another look at their ordinance as well. I promised them I would play nice and share my findings with them. Greenville, South Carolina is also re-examining their sidewalk cafe or their cafe encroachment permits. Knoxville is also re-examining. There is a recurring theme here where everyone seems to be looking at their sidewalk cafe permits right now. But of course, with the chamber, we toured Knoxville over the summer. They're at a $200 annual fee with a 4-year contract. New Orleans charges, based on you're either in the French Quarter and you're charged per table, or outside of the French Quarter, you're still charged per table, just at a different rate. And Oxford, Mississippi charges a market rate rent per month with a 4-year contract and increases $1 per year within that contract to account for CPI. So, all of those things in mind, let's take a look at what that would mean for some of ours here in Tuscaloosa. So looking at 5, they've got 623 square feet and 13 tables out front. And so you'll see what Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Asheville, Athens, Auburn, Oxford, and New Orleans, what those charges would all be if we were to apply something similar.
Oxford's interesting.
Yes, sir. The Oxford model makes you take a deep breath.
Do they charge a fee on your bill in Oxford to pay that? I mean, other than just your cost of doing business? Do they charge, I mean, it's like.
Oh, like if they
As far as
charge,
the
if you
tax
went
or-
to dine.
But I mean, that's $18,000 a month. So is
So-
that an extra like tax or like something in your bill?
That's a great question. I'm colleagues with the planning director in Oxford, Mississippi, and I called him to ask what number they were up to. And he told me about their new rates, et cetera. And I said, Ben, how?
Like an entertainment charge or entertainment, because like when you'll see it on a hotel bill.
Yeah.
You'll have, in New Orleans or wherever I'm saying, I can't remember, you'll have some type of fee. It has to be on the credit card.
When you said how, what did he say?
He said they are, the businesses are, they're paying it. It's a much smaller area, and they are paying it.
Hello.
I'll ask him if he's putting it on. I'll follow back up. I'll ask him if he's putting it on the bill, but I don't
They're
think.
not paying that. The people that are using it are paying.
Well, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Alcove has a new facade, and they also have 550 square feet with 6 tables out front. 2 of those tables seat 6, and so you'll see that reflected in the New Orleans classification there. What we charge in Tuscaloosa and the other locations. Sugo along University Boulevard. So they're an interesting example because they only have 68.4 square feet and no tables. They utilize this space not for outdoor dining, but to allow people to sit outside in the same way that De Palma's has their benches out front. Monarch has 3 tables and 180 square feet of sidewalk cafe. Of course, they don't have alcohol at their establishment. Heat Pizza with their 585 square feet, 9 tables, all of which have at least, I was generous and I gave them seating for 6. I think you could squeeze 8 in there pretty easily with their picnic tables, but you'll see those costs reflected. And on the strip down at Glory Bound, they've got 390 square feet with 12 tables, most of which are 2 or 3 tops. So, Council, you've got in front of you a copy of just the fee portion of this PowerPoint. I think I'd ask, I guess, for a little bit of guidance about how you'd like us to weave this tale as it comes to fees and what y'all might be looking to entertain.
Comments?
Do you have a recommendation you can bring to us?
Would Athens, Georgia be more comparable to us than some of these others? I'm just curious.
It depends on the day of the week.
Oh.
And it depends, I mean, truly, I think it depends
Sure.
on the day of the week. I think it depends on what's going on, because Tuscaloosa is not Athens, is not Auburn, is not, you know, the other SEC communities that you saw on that list. I don't think any one of us are really mirror
Same.
images.
I think we should do 18,000 a month.
18,000 a month.
Is that a motion? I think we should raise it. I don't know that we should. I
I just
don't
think we
really.
probably need to stay comfortable with some of the other, and I know we're not just like them, but yeah, I think you don't want to
You know, I don't
charge
know.
people out of doing it.
I definitely want more details from Oxford.
I don't want to revisit this every year. I wonder if we could have something like every few years it automatically goes up.
Well, and that would, so if I have a recommendation to Mr. Tyner's question earlier, what I will say is this. If the council is to provide a fee increase from a staff perspective and from an external user perspective, I think it would be best to have some level of predictability. Where we've revisited this now, we last looked at it in 2022. It's 2025 and we're looking at it. You know, should we expect to look again at 2028, or will the council recommend something that allows for a fee increase up to a certain amount, and then you look at it again X years from now or something along those lines?
Yeah.
That would be my recommendation if I were to have any.
I agree. You don't want to do it every year.
Right.
You also-
Ashley, is there any way to tie it to revenue?
I look to the revenues.
That sounds unwieldy, but who are you looking to?
They're already paying on their grocery receipts as a whole on their restaurant license. So this is just an additional license for that space.
It'd be
Separate the two, but
Because
It's part of the business license.
I mean, I can go to 2 or 3 places right now, and it looks like they're bringing 30% of their revenue in from our sidewalk.
Are you asking, can we separate out from the revenue that they earn on our property? No, we cannot separate that out.
Okay,
They report to us as one entity.
okay. But the rest of that sentence was, you can pick a handful of places and go out, and they're doing booming business on our sidewalk. And that's okay. But we're providing that. Their landlords are charging them for using that property inside. We're not charging anywhere close to market value for what's going on the outside. And his officers are policing it, and Chris's people are cleaning it, and Mike's repairing it. I mean, that property belongs to the taxpayers of this city, and we're not getting the full squeeze out of that. I also understand that's a boom for Tuscaloosa. I mean, for the most part. I mean, we've got some problems, but for the most part, there's a vibrancy that comes from being able to see people out enjoying themselves in the nice weather.
Love a patio.
And how we strike that balance between not choking off the business. And we have to realize with the advent of the high proportion of out-of-state students now, summers are not what summers used to be here. I mean, it drops off significantly. So I don't know if we try to factor in some seasonal aspect to it as well, but I hope we will move slowly, because this is important, I think. and I don't know that we need to be in a rush, but I do not think we got it right now, all right? It's not right at $1 a square foot a year, okay?
So to get us continuing to move forward, though, still moving slowly, but moving forward, what, send me in a direction and I'll go?
I'm gonna,
I'm wondering.
can we zoom in? Look, we both know.
Yeah.
There's places that are booming out there. I mean, they're booming. They're making big. There are other places, 2 blocks down around the corner. It's just a quiet little few people. It's no. You can't. You'll strangle it.
Mr. Busby, we're running out of time, and I agree with you.
Well, I'll shut up then.
All right. What I was wondering, perhaps we could get together at some point and discuss it. At some point, I wouldn't mind it going up to $7 in 7 years, but I don't know that we're going to reach a consensus here today. I think we're going to have a meeting with you and some things, and then run some things by people and do it that way.
I know in 22 we provided a variety of options. That one of them included a price per year increase potentially. Would you like to see something along those lines?
I would.
For the 18th?
Yes.
Okay.
Please, thank you. Did you have any more? I don't want to cut you off.
No, sir, that's all.
All right, any other comments on this? All right, do I have a